A new ABC News Washington Post poll confirms what other high-quality polls have shown. Joe Biden with a commanding 12-point lead nationally, the best numbers for any challenger since 1936. An urgency not lost on the Trump campaign, with 4 rallies planned in key swing states in 4 days: Florida, Pennsylvania, Iowa, and North Carolina.
Get out and vote. We got to vote. We got to vote these people into oblivion. Vote them into oblivion. Got to get rid of them. So bad for our country. First of all, I'm feeling great. I don't know about you. How's everyone feeling? Good? And I'm honored to welcome, we call this a peaceful protest, to the White House in support of the incredible men and women of law enforcement and all of the people that work so well with us. And I have to tell you, our black community, our Hispanic community, thank you very much.
Twitter on Sunday flagged a presidential tweet for spreading misleading and potentially harmful information after Trump claimed he was now immune from COVID-19, a false claim not backed by medical evidence, as the pandemic remains front and center.
America deserves a president who understands what people are going through. You're facing real challenges right now, and the last thing you need is a president who exacerbates them. More than 210,000 are dead, as was pointed out. We lose anywhere from 700 to 1,000 people a day dead. He says it is what it is.
In a week where eyes will be trained on the Senate Judiciary Committee for a contentious hearing to confirm Trump's Supreme Court nominee, one Democrats believe should have been made by the winner of the election, given that over 7 million ballots have already been cast in early voting.
The President has nominated me to serve on the United States Supreme Court, and that institution belongs to all of us. If confirmed, I would not assume that role for the sake of those in my own circle, and certainly not for my own sake. I would assume this role to serve you. I would discharge the judicial oath, which requires me to administer justice without respect to persons, do equal right to the poor and rich, and faithfully and impartially discharge my duties under the United States Constitution.
Heightening concerns that earlier court judgments on abortion and same-sex marriage could be under threat, with the Democratic VP nominee expected to play a leading role in questioning the judicial nominee.
The issues before us couldn't be more serious. There's the issue of choice, and I will always fight for a woman's right to make a decision about her own body. It should be her decision and not that of Donald Trump and the Vice President, Michael Pence.
And with just 22 days to Election Day, time to shift the dynamics in this race is running out fast. The Trump campaign will be hoping that crisscrossing the country with their rejuvenated candidate will begin to narrow the margins in this election. They've long claimed that internal polling shows a much tighter race nationally and in some of the key battleground states where Trump's been trailing his Democratic challenger. And while we've had a few October surprises in this election cycle already, including the recent diagnosis of the president, it's worth noting that we're not even halfway through October yet. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.
And Sherwin joining us live now. So Sherwin, the president's physician giving him the all clear, saying he's not a transmission risk. So basically he can hit the campaign trail again.
Yes, but not with large crowds, Francis. The Centers for Disease Control have this on their website. The CDC attaches the highest risk to large in-person gatherings where it is difficult for individuals to remain 6 feet apart. And we've all seen the Trump rallies, whether they're outside or indoors. There just isn't enough space, given the numbers of people that they let into these rallies, for them to social distance. So we might see an emphasis on the wearing of masks today, but it's going to be very, very difficult if you have hundreds of supporters who essentially don't want to wear masks, that are gathering in one spot to see their rejuvenated president. And this comes in, in the context of numbers spiraling out of control in the United States. People talk about a second wave around the world, Francis. The United States is still in the first wave where, 58,000 on Friday, new infections, 54,000 on Saturday, 42,000 on Sunday. And we see the spiraling out of control depending on which week you're talking about. A statement from the Biden campaign about this rally in Sanford, Florida tonight. President Trump comes to Sanford today bringing nothing more than reckless behavior, divisive rhetoric, and fear-mongering. But equally dangerous is what he fails to bring. No plan to get this virus that has taken the lives of over 15,000 Floridians under control. No plan to protect Floridians' health care amid attacks against the Affordable Care Act, essentially known as Obamacare. There's the statement on your screen. But essentially the message there is that this is a president that cannot be trusted in terms of his actions in mitigating this pandemic, despite the fact that he himself is still recovering from coronavirus. He himself got infected. And as the numbers associated with the White House continue to rise here, Francis, in terms of contact tracing. So really trying to hit the president hard here, the Biden campaign, as he again takes to the campaign trail this week.
And Sherwin, of course, one of the big election topics is that composition of the Supreme Court. You spoke about it in your report. The Democrats didn't want this to be happening, but the Senate judiciary hearings are underway to confirm Ruth Bader Ginsburg's replacement. Just tell us what's emerged quickly in the early hours of that process.
So let me just contextualize. When we talk about, Democrats not wanting this process, essentially pointing to the McConnell rule. Mitch McConnell is the Senate Republican leader, and his rule in 2016, when Barack Obama, then president, tried to nominate Antonin Scalia's replacement, Merrick Garland, the Senate majority leader refusing to give Merrick Garland even a hearing, let alone a vote on the Senate floor, more than 200 days before the election was due to start. What you have now is an election that is already underway with early voting in a number of states. And the Democratic argument in the Senate is that Republicans are now trying to push through the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg, despite what they did to Barack Obama in 2016. So they believe that is the basis for calling this a flawed process. But what we've seen in the first hours of this hearing are two divergent views. On the left, or on the right, you have the Republican argument that this is an eminently qualified judge with excellent legal credentials, who is eminently qualified to be Ruth Bader Ginsburg's replacement. And then you have Democrats arguing about how this judge will rule and what the implications are going to be for things like the legalization of abortion in the United States on a federal level, the future of gay marriage in the United States, same-sex marriage in the United States, and various other social issues, particularly healthcare. They are tying this judge to the future of healthcare because 7 days after the election, on the 10th of November, the Supreme Court will hear a case that will determine whether Obamacare, known as the Affordable Care Act, will remain the law of the land. And they believe by stacking the court with another conservative justice that people's health care amidst a pandemic is very much under threat. So Democrats not making legal arguments against this justice, but looking at the social issues and the implications of what her nomination will mean.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see her own message there saying she will be impartial. All right, we have to leave it there, but Sherwin Bryce-Pease, following the polling, following the race to elections, showing that quite wide margin with Joe Biden in the lead right now.